Hello, student. My name is Sayan Kar, a second year MBA student at AIIMS. So today I am going to teach you this chapter, which is the chapter number 6 in 11th NCERT, excretory products and their elimination. Basically, it is about the excretion. So what is excretion, by the way? Excretion is a process by which an organism excretes their waste products. So basically, the waste products are of different types. It may be ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, uh, and this ammonia, urea, uric acid are the nitrogenous waste products. Basically, we are talking about this nitrogenous waste products mainly. So, the process of excreting ammonia is ammonotelicism, and the species which are excreting ammonia are known as ammoniotelic species or ammoniotelic organisms. The examples of ammoniotelic organisms are some bony fishes and aquatic amphibians. Among the three nitrogenous waste products, which is ammonia, urea, and uric acid, this ammonia is the most toxic element. So, for its elimination, it requires more amount of water. Now you can see here this ammonia, as it is readily soluble, is generally excreted by the diffusion of across the body surfaces or through gill surfaces. Okay, then next is urea. The organisms which are excreting urea are known as ureotelic organisms. They are mainly organisms, terrestrial organisms like mammals, many terrestrial amphibians, marine fishes, and the organisms which are excreting uric acid are known as uricotelic organisms. Examples? Examples are reptiles, birds, land snails, insects. They are excreting nitrogenous waste products as uric acid. So, among the three nitrogenous waste products, the most toxic is ammonia. So, for its elimination, it requires more amount of water. Next, there's there are some excretory animals are also like protonephridia or flame cells are the excretory structures in platyhelminthes, which is flatworms. Examples, planaria. You can read about this. These are all rectification. Nothing to understand in this topic. In that topic. Now now we are discussing about human excretory system. So human excretory system are consisting of two kidneys, one ureter, one urinary bladder, and one urethra. Basically, this right kidney is a little bit lower, you can see, than the left one because of the presence of liver in right side. Okay, then the kidney has an outer cortex and inner medulla. The medulla is divided into some conical masses. As you can see here, these are the masses. These are known as medullary pyramids. So these medullary pyramids are projecting inwards like this. So this structure inwards. So this is known as minor calyx. These minor calyx are further drained into this. This is known as major calyx, and this major calyx is drained into renal pelvis, and renal pelvis further continued as ureter. So, what are the pathway of urine transformation? Urine transfer. First, the nephrons are in the renal pyramid, then the collecting duct are excrete their product in this minor calyx. From minor calyx, the urine goes into this major calyx, and from major calyx to renal pelvis, from renal pelvis to ureter, then urinary bladder, then urethra, then outside. Okay. Now, there the cortex extends in between the medullary pyramids or medullary pyramids as renal columns. They are known as columns of Bertini. Means this structure, this structure, these are known as columns of Bertini. Now, the each kidney has nearly 1 million complex tubular structure known as. So, what is nephron? Nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. Nephron has two parts: glomerulus. Glomerulus means this the coiled structure, and renal tubules are further divided into four parts. What are the four parts? First one is Bowman's capsule, then proximal convoluted tubule. This is the first one. This is the second one. Then Henle's loop. Then distal convoluted tubule. Now you can see here. You can ask me what is Malpighian corpuscle. Malpighian corpuscle are nothing but the collection of glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. So Bowman's capsule plus glomerulus is equal to, among the structures, this Malpighian corpuscle, PCT and DCT. PCT means proximal convoluted tubule and DCT means distal convoluted tubule, are situated in the cortex of the nephron, a cortex of the kidney. Whereas the Henle's loop is situated in the medulla. You can see here, like this. If you divide it, this is the cortex, this is the medulla. So this Bowman's capsule, this glomerulus, this PCT, this is the loop of Henle. This is the DCT, this is collecting. So these structures are in cortex. This Henle's loop is in medulla. Based on this formation, the nephrons are divided into two types. One is juxtamedullary and another is cortical nephron. Cortical nephron means the Henle's loop part is very small. So those are known as cortical nephrons. If the Henle's loop is very much long and it is very much deep down in this medulla, so these are known as juxtamedullary nephron. So in case of this juxtamedullary nephrons, the Henle's loop are in medulla. Henle's loops are long enough. And in case of this cortical nephrons, Henle's loop was short and extends only very little into the medulla. Okay. Now in the glomerulus, there are two structures. One is afferent arteriole, another one is efferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole comes into the glomerulus, and efferent arteriole goes out from the glomerulus. This efferent arteriole, here it is telling that the efferent arteriole emerging from the glomerulus, it forms a capillary network around this loop of Henle. So here it is saying this network is known as peritubular capillaries, and if there is a structure which is just run parallel to the Henle's loop, this is known as vasa recta. So Henle's loop is more evident or more important in juxtamedullary nephron. So you can say that vasa recta are present in juxtamedullary nephron, but this peritubular capillaries are present in cortical nephrons. Then urine formation. Urine formation has only three steps or three mechanisms results into urine formation. What are the three mechanisms? If you draw a nephron here, This is first is filtration. Then what is this? This is the blood vessel. This is reabsorption, and this one is secretion. And final is, so we can say that fusion is equal to filtration minus reabsorption plus secretion. We can say now. First one is glomerular filtration. We are all know that the amount of cardiac output is 5 liter or 5000 ml. Among this 5000 ml, the renal blood flow is only ml or 1/5 of cardiac output. This is the renal blood flow. Among this, only 625 ml is 625 ml is ready or is filtered, and the rest 575 ml is going to the efferent arteriole. This 625 ml is filtered. This 20% of the 625 ml means 125 ml per minute in the both kidney is the, it is 25 ml per minute is the amount of filtered which is produced in both the kidneys. Okay, this 125 ml is known as GFR, glomerular filtration rate. Now you can say that this 125 ml per minute is GFR. One important structure is there which is known as JGA. JGA means juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxta means near, glomerular apparatus. So near the glomerulus, it is situated near the glomerulus. If it is the Bowman's capsule, if it is the efferent, this is the efferent arteriole, and if it is the DCT, this connection, this is known as JGA. Now see here, JGA is a special sensitive region found by the cellular modification in the distal convolular tubule and the efferent arteriole at the location of their contact. What is the function of JGA? A fall in GFR can activate the JG cells. JG cells means juxtaglomerular cells to release renin, which can stimulate the glomerular blood flow and thereby the GFR back to normal. Okay, so it helps in regulation of GFR. Then another one is reabsorption. You can calculate from this 125 ml per minute. So per day 180 liter. 180 liter per day, but we are excreting 1 to 1.5 liter per day. Now, then the rest is getting reabsorbed. Rest means nearly 99%. And another one is secretion. During this urine formation, mainly three substances are secreted from this renal tubule, which are H plus, K plus, ammonia. Now, what are the functions of renal tubules? Renal tubules are PCT, lipophenolate, DCT, and collecting. So PCT is mainly involved in reabsorption. 70 to 80% of the electrolytes and water are reabsorbed. And also glucose is getting reabsorbed. And also they also secrete some hydrogen ions, ammonia into the filtrate. And also absorption of bicarbonate. Means why it is saying biabsorption of? Because this hydrogen ion and this bicarbonate is this hydrogen is secreting and bicarbonate is absorbing. Once means it is a primary active transport. and loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is very much important structure because it helps in producing this concentration gradient along this renal medullary interstitium. If it is the medulla, it is the cortex, it is the medulla. If we go from up to below, the osmolarity is increasing from 300 milliosmol per liter to this formation is due to Henle's loop because Henle's loop has two structure. One is this this descending limb of Henle and this is ascending limb of Henle. This descending limb of Henle is permeable to water only. Why water? Because 300 to 1200 osmolarity is increasing. If water is reabsorbed from this part, so this part is getting concentrated now. So 300 is increased to 1200, and this ascending limb of Henle is permeable to electrolytes. So 200 is returned to 300, and this concentration gradient or this concentration along this medullary interstitium is help in concentrating the urine DCT. Here also reabsorption of sodium water takes place, bicarbonate reabsorption and secretion of hydrogen, potassium, ammonia. Then this collecting duct mainly water reabsorption. Here remember one point which is very much important. This water reabsorption is only due to ADH hormone. If there is no ADH, no water reabsorption. Remember that. And it's a mechanism of concentration of the filtrate because we are producing 300. If we are excrete this 300 only, then we are not able to conserve the water. No, that's why you have to concentrate the filtrate. This mechanism is known as counter current mechanism. This counter current, why it is counter current? Because if it is a vasorecta and it is a Henle's loop, and the filtrate is it is not situated like this. It is situated like different because the flow of fluid or flow of filtered or flow of blood in these two structures are parallel but opposite in opposite direction. So it is counter current. So in counter current mechanism, there are two structures. One is loop of Henle's loop, or one is vasorecta. These two are important to concentration of okay. This proximity between these Henle's loop and vasorecta as well as counter current in them help in maintaining and increasing osmolarity towards the inner medullary interstitium. Means from outer medullary interstitium to inner medullary interstitium. The osmolarity is increasing from 300 milliosmol per liter to 200 milliosmol per liter. So here it is very much important. This gradient is mainly caused by NaCl and urea. These two substances are responsible for this gradient. So how it is happening? First, the filtrate is coming along this pathway. Then here presence of transporter, which is sodium, potassium to chloride. So sodium is getting reabsorbed. If sodium is getting reabsorbed, then the filtrate is being diluted like this. Sodium is getting reabsorbed, and in this water is getting reabsorbed. So filter is the filtrate is getting more concentrated along this pathway and diluted along this pathway. By this, the medullary interstitium is obtaining a osmolarity of 1200 milliosmol. And when the filtrate is going along this pathway, here urea is getting reabsorbed. Urea is getting reabsorbed and it is now secreted in this ascending layer. Okay, it is getting reabsorbed in this collecting duct and is secreted in the ascending layer. Now you can see that NaCl is transported by the ascending layer, which is exchanged with the descending layer of vasa recta. NaCl is returned to the interstitium by the ascending portion of the vasa recta. Similarly, like this only. Vasa recta means is capillary. There is no such selection in the permeability. NaCl and water is both permeable in both the limb. So in this descending limb of vasa recta, the NaCl is entered into the vasa recta and the water is getting secreted or water is getting reabsorbed into the interstitium. And in the descending the vice versa occur. Okay? Like this only, the small amounts of urea enter the thin segment of ascending limb from the Henle's loop, which is transported back to the interstitium by the collecting tube. Which I just mentioned earlier. No? So the above described transport of substances facilitated by special arrangement of the Henle's loop and vasa recta is called the countercurrent mechanism. Means the special arrangement of Henle's loop and vasa recta. Special arrangement. Why special arrangement? Because the substances or the filtrate of the blood is flowing in parallel to each other, but in opposite direction in that two structures. Okay. So this helps in concentrating the urine from 300 to 1200 4 times. There is an important MCQ which is 4 times. Now, regulation. How the function of the kidney is regulated? It is regulated by hypothalamus, by JGA and heart. How hypothalamus is important in regulation of the kidney? If there is decrease in water in body, so increase osmolarity, it triggers the osmolar center, osmoreceptor, which is present in the brain. So this trigger the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus secreted ADH. Hypothalamus is producing ADH now. ADH is, and this ADH is stored in posterior pituitary, and this osmoreceptor triggered the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus also triggered the posterior pituitary, so it secreted the ADH, which is being stored in posterior pituitary. This ADH is released in blood, and the ADH is causing water retention. So water is back to normal. And also ADH can constrict the blood vessel, which increases blood pressure. If the blood pressure is increased, the blood pressure in the renal artery or renal blood flow is also increased. Is the glomerular blood flow increase, then GFR also increase. Glomerular blood flow increase means more blood is coming in the glomerulus. If more blood is coming in the glomerulus, then more blood is being filtered in the glomerulus. So the amount of GFR is also increased. How JGA is important in maintaining the kidney function? If the glomerular blood flow or glomerular blood pressure or GFR is decreased, it triggers these JG cells, which release renin. Now JG cell release renin. And also remember, liver produce angiotensinogen. This renin is converting this angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. This angiotensin 1 is further getting converted into angiotensin 2 by angiotensin converting enzyme which is present in lungs. And this angiotensin 2 is act on hypothalamus, is act on pituitary hypothalamus. It triggers this thirst center. Thirst center means now you are feeling very thirsty, so you drink more water. Pituitary to increase ADH. Also, is angiotensinogen 2. If this is the Bowman's capsule, this is the glomerulus, this is the efferent arteriole. No? This angiotensin 2 constrict this efferent arteriole. If the efferent arteriole is being constricted, so the pressure in this area is increased. Now, if you constrict this area, so pressure is increased. So if the pressure is increased, pressure means glomerular hydrostatic pressure is increased. So GFR increased. So increase in blood pressure is GFR. This is called renin-angiotensin mechanism. Also, you can say renin-angiotensin RAS mechanism. Renin-angiotensinogen angiotensin mechanism RAS. And also there is another. The angiotensin 2 is act on adrenal medulla. Act on adrenal cortex. Release aldosterone. Aldosterone cause sodium and water retention in DCT. So what is RAS? RAS is renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. Another factor is atrial natriuretic factor. Now listen closely, listen carefully. And the amount of blood is increased. This is heart. The amount of blood is increased, so if the amount of blood is increased, so blood pressure or pressure in the right atrium is also increased. If the right atrium pressure is increased, right atrium pressure increase means the blood is pushing the right atrium wall. If it is the right atrium, the blood is pushing the wall, right atrial wall. So from this right atrial wall, atrial natriuretic factor or peptide is released, which causes increase in water excretion, so decrease in blood pressure. So it acts as a check on the renin-angiotensin mechanism. If the renin-angiotensin mechanism is acting very much, so if the renin-angiotensin mechanism is acting very much, so the blood pressure is also increased now. If the blood pressure is increased so much, then ANF is released and it decreases the blood pressure by this. Okay? Then coming to micturition. What is micturition? Micturition is the complete voiding of urine from the urinary bladder. It is a reflex mechanism controlled by CNS. The amount is 1 to 1.5 liter urine per day. Important one is this pH and the amount of urea. In some disease condition, there may be presence of glucose, ketone body in the urine. If the glucose is only present, diabetes mellitus. If both glucose and ketone body is present, you can say this is diabetic ketoacidosis, like this only. What are the other structures help in excretion other than kidney? Lungs, liver, skin also help in elimination of excretory waste. How? Lungs, you know, if it is the lungs, so it eliminates carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide is 200 ml per minute. This also the paper. Liver secretes bile-containing substances like bilirubin, biliverdin, cholesterol, degraded steroid, hormones, vitamins, drugs, and most of these substances pass out along with the digestive waste. Means stool. In the skin, there are two main glands in the skin. One is sweat gland, and another one is sebaceous gland. Sweat gland producing sweat. So, but the main, the primary function of sweat is to facilitate cooling effect on the body surface, which is known as thermoregulation. You have to remember this point. The primary function is thermoregulation. And this sweat is containing NaCl, small amounts of urea, lactic acid, along with water. Sebaceous gland also eliminates some substances like sterols, hydrocarbons, waxes. In some conditions, the sebaceous gland is known as sebum, the secrete or the product which is producing from these glands. The sebum is act as a protective layering over the skin. In case of ear, if there is no sebum, so insects or small insects can enter into the ear and can rupture the eardrum. So it is also act as a protective oily covering. What are the disorders? The last topic is disorders of the excretory system. It is a very much easy topic. So if the kidney is not functioning, so it is not able to excrete urea. One another important point is how the urea is produced, because we are producing ammonia. Na? This ammonia is converted into urea by liver. There is a process which is known as urea cycle. You don't need to know about this. Just remember there is a urea cycle which is occurring in liver, which helps in converting NH3 into urea. Okay. So if the kidney is not functioning, so urea is accumulated in blood, which is known as uremia. So in such condition, we have to excrete the urea from the patient's blood. So we have to first the patient is admitted in the hospital. So how we are going to eliminate this urea? In this condition, urea can be removed by the process called hemodialysis, and the machine which helps in this process is known as artificial kidney or a dialyzing unit. So in this hemodialysis, blood is collected, the blood is drained out from the patient. If we drained out blood from the patient's body, see there is a chance now being the blood is getting clotted, blood clot can be formed. So to prevent this, to prevent clots, we are using heparin. So after an anticoagulant like heparin, so then the blood is put put it in this dialyzing unit. In this dialyzing unit, it is surrounded by one fluid. This is known as dialyzing fluid. This dialyzing fluid is containing the same constituent as that of the plasma, but there is no negative nitrogenous waste product like urea. So there is urea, it is plasma. There is urea, there is no urea. So urea is high concentration, urea is low concentration. So we know the theory of diffusion. The urea is being diffused from the high concentration to the low concentration. So by this, urea is eliminated from the plasma. After this, we are adding anti-heparin. Then we are putting this blood into the patient's vein, collecting it from artery. See that anti-heparin. Simple. Remember this picture. One is renal. If there is renal failure, the ultimate method is kidney transplantation. While performing this kidney transplantation surgery, we have to keep in mind that it can give graft rejection. Means if there is a person A, there is person B. We are putting his kidney from person. We are putting person A's kidney into person B's body. So this is person A's kidney, but in person B's body, it acts as a foreign substance. So the immune system of person B recognizes this kidney as a foreign substance. So person B produce some antibody, so it can destroy this kidney. So the kidney is destroyed once again. There is no relief, or there is no end result. So we have to keep in mind that transplantation, preferably a close relative, means a functioning kidney is used in transplantation from a donor, preferably close relative. Okay. Renal calculi means renal stone. Renal stone mainly oxalates. Just remember this. Glomerulonephritis. Itis. Whenever you see itis in any disease, you just remember inflammation. So glomerulus. So inflammation in the glomerulus. Inflammation of the glomerulus. Simple na? Now coming to the exercise. What is the glomerular filtration rate? I just discussed earlier. The amount of filtrate which is produced from the both kidney per unit minute, per 1 minute. Okay, means amount of filtrate produced in both kidney per 1 minute. Amount is 125 units. Autoregulatory mechanism of JFR. Autoregulatory means the kidney itself is responsible for this mechanism. So you can say the juxtaglomerular apparatus, action of juxtaglomerular apparatus. If the JFR is decreased, so it releases renin, which further into aldosterone. This angiotensin II causes vasoconstriction. We discussed it earlier, na? So vasoconstriction causes increase in GFR. And this aldosterone or this ADH, water retention increase blood pressure, increase GFR. Aldosterone increase sodium and water retention, increase blood pressure, increase GFR. You can say like this. Indicate whether the following statements are true or false. Micturition is carried out by reflex. Yeah, true. ADH helps in water elimination, making the urine. No, ADH helps in water retention. No, so it is false. Protein-free fluid is filtered from blood plasma. Yes, protein-free. Why? Because this is the Bowman's capsule. This is the glomerular capillary. This is the endothelial cells. This is the podocytes. This is the endothelium. No? This is the basal membrane. In this basal membrane, there is heparin sulfate, which is negative. So it is, if it is negative, then these proteins are negative. Na? So negative repel each other. So protein are repelled. So it is filled with protein free. Yes, true. Henle's loop plays an important role in concentrating the urine. Yes, it's true. Glucose is actively reabsorbed. Yes, it is true. Because in PCT, if it is PCT, it is PCT. So it is glucose, it is sodium. So glucose along with sodium, it is reabsorbed, which is known as secondary active transport. Just remember this. Give a brief account on the countercurrent mechanism. We just discussed it earlier now. Describe the role of liver, lungs, and skin. Same. Explain micturition. So, in the definition, you can say that micturition is the complete voiding of urine from the urinary bladder, and it is a reflex mechanism which is carried out by CNS. And just try to understand this concept. If this is the urinary bladder, urine is filled. So when the urine is totally filled, it produces some pressure on the wall of the urinary bladder. So this is sensitized. This is recognized by some receptor, stretch receptor. Goes to CNS for easy understanding. There is a very difficult mechanism, but you don't need to know that. It is in physiology. CNS. So it gives the motor in output to this bladder muscles. Which muscle? Retrosor. So retrosor is contract, and there is one urethral sphincter. If it is the urethral sphincter, so it has to be relaxed. So it is relaxed. It is contract. So urine is voiding out. It is known as micturition. Match, just match. Ammonotelism. Ammonia means bony face. Ammonia, aquatic animals. Bowman's capsule, renal tubule. Micturition, urinary bladder. Ergotelism, bird. ADH, water reaction. Simple. What is meant by the term osmoregulation? Osmoregulation is break. Osmo means osmolarity. Regulation means regulation. So osmoregulation, you can say that it is a mechanism of regulating the osmolarity of the cells of body by maintaining the concentration or amount of water and NaCl in the body. Terrestrial animals are generally either ureotelic or erychrotelic, not monotelic. We know that ammonia is the most toxic substance among the three nitrogenous waste products. So, if ammonia in ammonotelic animals, the ammonia is diluted by water. But in terrestrial animals, they doesn't have that much water to dilute the toxic ammonia. So if they doesn't have that much water, so ammonia is getting accumulated in these terrestrial animals, which causes harm because ammonia is the toxic substances. So that's why terrestrial animals are generally either ureotelic or uricotelic. Okay. What is the significance of juxtaglomerular apparatus in kidney function? We just discussed it earlier. JEE apparatus. Just play the video once again. You can understand. A chordate animal having flame cells are as excretory structure amphioxus. It is given in your NCERT only. Just see. Protonephridia and flame cells are the excretory structures in cephalochordate like amphioxus. Okay. If you read the NCERT thoroughly, you can solve most of the questions. A cortical portion projecting between the medullary pyramid in the human kidney. It is known as columns of Bertini. A loop of capillary running parallel to Henle's loop. Ascending limb of Henle's loop is ascending limb. If you forget this in exam hall, just remember this. This is 300, this is 1200. This is ascending loop. If the ascending limb is permeable to water, so water filtered is going in this direction. It's permeable, so water is excluded. So 1200 to 300. If is this possible? No. So ascending lip of Henle's loop is impermeable to water, whereas the descending loop is permeable to it. Reabsorption of water from distal parts of the tubules is facilitated by distal part means you can say DCT or collecting ducts by ADH or also vasopressinase. Dialysis fluid contain all the constituents as in plasma except nitrogenous waste products, right? Urea. A healthy adult human excretes how much? 25 to 30. Okay, that's all for today. Okay,